There is one thing I haven't yet talked about, and it might be the most important one. It is you. No matter how many tools or strategies you learn, your presence, how you show up, is what shapes the field around you. And the leader's inner system always sets the tone of the whole system. Every person has its own energy field, and also every system has its own invisible energy field. We as leaders influence that field, and we influence it with our words, our actions, our behavior, but we also influence that energy field of our team, of our organization, with our presence. Imagine the days when you were inside feeling chaotic. How your working system reflected that to you. Or remember the days when you were feeling numb, disconnected on the inside. How then your working system reacted. Or remember when you were totally clear and open and maybe even joyful. How then your system is responding. Maybe you already noticed that when you are in a good energy, good inner state, everything goes great. And when you are not feeling good, then all the things are going even worse. So this is the truth, that the system resonates with the state of the leader, always. This also means that when you are in the good inner state, you can amplify that in your working environment, and that's great. But this also means that all your unresolved tensions, unresolved fears can also get amplified. And if you are trying to do some changes, to do some shifts in your organization, and your inner system is misaligned, your impact will be very limited. Your impact will be much greater, and your steps would be much easier if your inner system is fully aligned with the actions, with the behavior, with everything what you are wanting your system to shift. I worked with a founder that had grown his company to the 40 people. They had a great vision, and also he was very committed. Issue that they have in their team was firefighting mode. So it was constant urgency about almost everything. Then it was stress in all meetings. It was really an environment that couldn't find its peace. And we talked a bit about that, about the team and how the things are going on. And he said that from the beginning it is like that. And that at the beginning he somehow understood it, because they really need to fight to build the product, to sell it, and to make for the living. But now when they're already made that, and when they are growing, and when they have good numbers, he expected that now when they have people for everything, when they have tools for everything, when they have processes for everything, that now things will settle, and that it will be more calm, and it will be more relaxed atmosphere to work in. So I asked him also that we talk more about him. And at first, like all people do, first he gave me all those great stuff about his ideas, about his vision, about his plans, about his dreams. Great. All that can be amplified with that organization and that team. Then I started to ask those other questions. What is also still inside his inner system? Are there some unresolved tensions? Are there some unresolved fears? Are there some emotions? And we came to the moment when he told me that he's actually terrified, that was his word, that one day he will lose everything. He has some sort of not trusting that what he created is sustainable and that sooner or later that will collapse. So he wasn't just afraid of that. He said he was terrified. At that moment, it was totally clear to me that what is happening in his organization is a reflection of his inner system. Yes, it is a reflection of those starting moments because they started the company in that energy. But that energy was not just because of the start of the company. That fear was in him even before, and it is still there, and the system is responding to that. We, of course, started to work on that fear, since that wasn't the first time at the starting of the company that he had that fear, but he had that fear even before we were having the process of going through that. And I will now not give you all the details of that process, but what is important here to share is that his inner state of that fear, of that terrified feeling, was also visible in his behavior, in his actions. The way how he was walking, the way how he was talking, how he was doing anything, it was all in some sort of push and tension and rush. And yes, system, of course, was responding to that. In this process in which we were working together, he was really slowly shifting, and that first showed as his actions and behavior in the way how he is presenting himself. So we worked on that he slowed a bit, that he relaxed a bit, that he wasn't so much rushing, but that he was more calm, that he was more centered, and that he was holding space in a different way. And with that, he noticed after a few weeks that the energy in the organization was starting to change. It was his inner presence that we were working on. And when that changed, also the system responded. In most leadership schools, trainings, literature, the focus is on behavior. The focus is on tools, strategies, hints, how to do things. Focus is on doing, on action. But we, as human beings, are not just here for doing things. And the systemic question that system leaders are asking is, who are you being while you do what you do? If you are leading from control, from urgency, from fear, that is what also spreads in your system. And when you are leading from groundedness, from trust, from clarity, that is also something that system amplifies. Inner system of a leader isn't private, it's contagious. I wish all leaders to shift from just doing to being with yourself and then doing. And sometimes the most important steps as leaders that we are making aren't external ones. Sometimes very important steps are those internal ones. For example, clearing some limiting belief or naming that fear that you have and sitting with it, or just honoring your inner truth. As leaders, we want to change, we want to shift our systems in order that to be much easier and much faster. It is my advice that we first shift our inner state. What energy you usually bring to the field? What might you carry silently that your team might be sensing? What is the state of your inner system right now? And more importantly, who do you become when you lead from your presence? Systemic leadership is a way of being that respects the wholeness of people and the intelligence of systems. I hope that this systemic leadership series gave you a new way to see and a new way to lead.